Hello again, everybody. This is John with BestPriceNutrition.com. Today I have the National Educator for Gardener Life, Jay Bouguet, with me. Thanks, Jay, for coming on with us. Today we're going to go through, there's a lot of terms thrown around for vitamins right now with whole food vitamins, food-based vitamins, USP isolates and straights, and sometimes in raw. Sometimes people are getting lost with all the terms, and really today we just want to cover what it means for a vitamin to be raw or whole food, as opposed to what we're typically used to seeing on store shelves. So if you can do us a favor and kind of compare and maybe contrast, whole food, food-based, and USP straights, and let's get some definitions out there as far as what that means for the consumer.
Sure. Our industry's kind of evolved a lot in the last 10 or 20 years. We started off having whole food supplements available to us. When we wanted B vitamins, we took brewer's yeast, and we wanted trace minerals, we took kelp tablets. When we wanted iron, we took desiccated liver tablets. So we took food tablets, and we had to take a lot of them, but we got the nutrients from those food sources. And then came the technology where you could sort of concentrate and isolate vitamins and minerals, or even recreate synthetically vitamins and minerals in a lab, and those are what dominated the marketplace for a number of years. Then we saw food-based supplements, which are vitamins and minerals that exist as isolates, but they're in a base of food. You'll see them containing spirulina and herbs and fruits and vegetables. Whole food vitamins and minerals, like the vitamin code, for example, actually are food. Technically, they're grown using living single-celled organisms, probiotics, and they contain all of the cofactors necessary for those vitamins and minerals to be recognized by the body as food, to be absorbed, to be utilized and retained by the body.
Now, that being said, I've heard some people, and myself included, has taken these on an empty stomach and really not had any issues. Whereas I know in the past when I would take, a USP isolated, multivitamin, my stomach would hurt or something as long as if I didn't have food with it. Not to mention the fat-soluble vitamins may not absorb as well without food. Now, with this, I haven't had any issues. Is part of that because it is food?
Yeah. Technically, your body's meant to get vitamins and minerals from the foods that you eat. So vitamins and minerals are generally better tolerated from food. And number one, the cofactors that exist in foods, if you were to peer inside of a food, whether it's a broccoli flour or a piece of salmon, those vitamins and minerals are there, but they don't occur in isolation. They're physically attached to and surrounded by a web of what I would call cofactors. These can be pigments like chlorophyll, they can be enzymes, they could be bioflavonoids. They're not vitamins, they're not minerals, but A, they're healthy for your body on their own. They're nutritious. Centrum doesn't provide them to us. Whole food vitamins and whole foods themselves do. Or B, they're there to help that vitamin or mineral to do its job. It's the knock on the door of the gut cell that says, hey, vitamin C's out here, let it in. So these formulas are actually roughly by weight 80% cofactors and about 20% actual vitamin and mineral material. So sometimes the milligrams or percentages look a bit lower, but that's also one of the reasons that they're more gentle on the gut.
Okay. And another thing that we've been reported by people who've used it, ourselves included, is that sometimes when you urinate after you take a typical isolated multivitamin, it's like, oh, I've got yellow-green urine, so kind of people are like, well, I must be wasting all my vitamins, they're going to the toilet. Whereas, with the whole food vitamins, I haven't really seen that. Is that due to absorption, or what would that be?
It's actually not due to absorption. So actually a lot of people go, hey, you didn't really absorb it if you just urinated it out. Technically what you urinated out, you did absorb, and it actually passed through your kidneys. So it's not an absorption issue, it's actually more of a utilization or retention issue. So those cofactors we want people to think of as almost like little zip codes. Like if you're trying to mail an envelope somewhere, if you leave the zip code off, it's not going to know where to go. These zip codes actually can help take them where they're sort of supposed to be and help them do what they're supposed to do, so your body can utilize them more efficiently.
Okay. Now, with the isolated vitamins, sometimes I think it's always good to run through the process of how they're made. Let's say you and I were getting together and we wanted to make, a good isolated multivitamin. We'd literally be ordering vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, and all these separate, raw materials, and we'd take them and we'd mix them all together. Whereas with this, you were saying, now how are these made per se to say these are food?
It depends on the nutrient we're talking about. For example, in most of the vitamin code formulations, the calcium we actually get from a plant or an algae that's hand harvested in Brazil. A lot of our vitamin C comes by the way of amla berry. Certain foods you can't actually concentrate that food itself and get a good potency with regard to the vitamin or mineral level. Some of the minerals and some of the B vitamins, for example, we actually probiotically grow these nutrients. So the regular old vitamin and mineral, not that there's anything wrong with it other than the fact that it's sort of naked and not missing the cofactors, is actually fed to living single-celled organisms, lactobacilli and Saccharomyces, which actually take in that vitamin or mineral, utilize it, capture it, transform it into sort of a body-ready, cofactor-rich whole food form.
So it kind of takes a step away from that your body has to perform if the bacteria, probiotics are doing it for you.
Yeah, the living single-celled organism, just like a plant growing in soil, is taking lifeless inorganic elements and making them into this organic, complex, whole food living form.
Got it. Okay. Well, another thing we touched on real quick was, now this would be an example of an isolated vitamin that has some whole food concentrates in there.
Absolutely.
Not an actual whole food vitamin per se.
Yeah, it's not
food.
probiotically grown or,
Okay.
or fermented. It's food-based.
And one other term that we brought up here in the beginning was raw. What does it mean for it to be raw?
Well, raw has to do with a heat or a temperature definition. So, raw has to do with not heating a food beyond a certain temperature, and the point of not heating it beyond that temperature is to preserve even the most heat-sensitive nutrient within that given food system. So I think vitamins and minerals are actually a lot more stable than people think they are, but some of the most heat-sensitive nutrients are enzymes like SOD, which is superoxide dismutase. So at no point in the process from when these nutrients are cultivated or grown all the way through when they're dried and put into this capsule are they exposed to temperatures that would compromise even the most heat-sensitive components. And then secondarily, because they're capsules that are gravity-fed, and we've avoided the use of not only tableting, which is a process that involves friction, heat, and coatings that have to be dried with heat, we're not using any excipients or fillers like Magsteroid or maltodextrin that aren't also raw by a heat definition.
Okay. All right,
So
well,
it actually is suffice to say that these formulas are not only raw, but they're 100% active ingredients. Everything in that capsule has nutritional value, nutritional purpose.
okay. Well, that's good. I think we covered all the definitions for everybody. I answered most of your questions as far as, the differences between the USP straights, whole food, food-based, raw. I know it can get kind of confusing, so I hope we cleared up some of that for you guys. Thanks, Jay, for helping us out today, and thank you.